dumb and restless and obsessed with Final Fantasy X, so I'm going to overanalyze Valefor's design and likely be wrong about everything that I point out. That stated, hi, I'm Lucille, and I'm whispering because people are asleep, and I'm still figuring out how I'm going to address the whole video aspect of my videos, but that doesn't necessarily matter at the moment, so let's just get into it. Final Fantasy creators like to do this thing where they'll reference mythology and religious figures by naming their characters and creatures after them. Valefor is an example of this, as are the other Aeons, and especially Ifrit, because they use that one at least twice. However, the designs don't always translate one-to-one, which is part of what makes Valefor's design so interesting, because her design actually uses a ton of elements from different mythologies, theoretically, but can also make design analysis weird. In demonology, there is a duke named Valefor, which is known for being a sort of thief-based demon who tempts people to steal, but then will bail on them as soon as they get caught or run into traps. With this itself, we see some inspiration for Valefor, but before we get into that, I'll have to address the elephant poorly cosplaying as a bird, because while Valefor is a winged creature with dragon and bird themes, Valefor is a lion with a man or donkey's face. That's not to say there isn't clear inspiration there either. Valefor has this mane that surrounds a mask acting as a bird face. Reason I say mask is that it's textured to look more like metal than skin, as if Valefor is hiding her identity. When we look at Valefor's face, the statue looks as though the wings are a part of armor, with her face pointed down and the mask of Valefor shaping out her lower back. Also, I think it's really cool that Valefor's tail looks like plates, of armor, whatever. It paints a picture of Valefor wearing a mask that might have belonged to a set of armor. What I think is interesting is that the statue of the Faith and the Faith themselves look completely different from one another. The girl that sacrifices herself for the cause looks to be a young Besaid girl with yellow ribbons in her hair and a blue and yellow dress. However, the statue that she creates, which is what Yuna prays to, has the short red hair with a blue ribbon or headband, which makes me wonder if their transformation from human to Faith connects them to something else that then becomes an Aeon. I don't know. It's curious. Regardless, another connection between Valefor and Valefor would be the links of rings that are looped around Valefor's inner wing. That's hard to say. At the bottom is a bell or trinket of some kind. It's actually rather hard to tell, but it reminds me of the necklace Animo wears around her neck depicting a woman. Like, it's such a specific detail, and the bell has some kind of darker part or image on it that's hard to decipher. At any case, these are related to jewelry and gold, so it seems fitting a creature based on Valefor would have some form of gold or rings in their design. The bell, if it's a bell, could be based on a church bell, considering the themes of Final Fantasy X. The most obvious theme for Valefor's design is her large dragon-like wings, legs, and tail. If we only connect it to Valefor, you could tie it in as dragons being known for hoarding treasure, ergo a creature based off of a thief demon is a dragon. However, you might also see the resemblance of a harpy. Now, this is where it gets just a tad complicated, but way back in the day, Greek sirens were actually harpies, female bird-like creatures usually depicted with the bare chest of a woman and a woman's face. This is not to be confused with valkyries, which are humanoid bird women warriors from Norse mythology. However, as time went on, their association with the sea eventually changed them from bird women to fish women. Likely, no one is actually completely sure, but that's the most popular theory. And you're like, wow, this is a long-winded way to say that harpies and sirens are connected, but it's important that sirens are fish and that they started out as birds, because what are fish? Fish are dragons. Is this mixing mythologies? Most definitely, so is saying anything about Greek when Valefor's name is the second spelling for Valefor. For those more unaware, in Chinese myth, the legend of the koi fish, in the Chinese myth, the legend of the koi fish, a koi is gifted transformation for persevering up a river and reaching the dragon gate. Fun fact, did you know that koi are a type of carp? The term koi means carp, with their full name, Nishikigoi, meaning brogue-headed carp. There's actually a type of goldfish that has a similar pattern that some people call koi goldfish, And by some, I mean very little, because I've only been able to find this nickname in Arizona. Valefor's design paints the picture of a bird who became a fish, who became a dragon. The mask that she wears pays homage to her bird origins, while her final transformation is that of a dragon. Of course, fish is easy enough to connect with her themes, although not necessarily through her design, mostly just through the fact that the game itself is made up of nothing but islands. Water is prominent, and with water comes fish. Is that looser than the previous ones? Sure, but it's the bridge between Valefor's Harpy-esque appearance and her dragon one. But the reason why I think the birdfish dragon is so cool is because it fits the spiral theme of Spira. I mean, if you think about it, the design comes full circle. She starts as a winged figure, becomes an ocean figure, the ocean being directly connected to Sen, and then is gifted her wings back, almost as if she's a fallen angel who saved herself. Maybe. Another fascinating aspect for Valefor is the fact that she is directly connected to Yuna. If we look at it that way, Yuna starts off as a bird, appears free but is caged by Yevon, who then becomes a fish surrounded by Sen, someone who no longer believes in Yevon. This would be when she defeats Yunalesca, and then is gifted her wings back during her transformation from summoner to spear hunter, or, when she defeats Yu Yevon. I mean, I don't think it's a mistake that the Aeons connected to Yuna, Lulu's original summoner, and Seymour reflect their journeys in their designs and foil the different characters that they're associated with. Both Yuna and Valefor are stuck in the spiral of Spira. However, Yuna becomes free when she transforms, while it's the Faith's transformation that traps her. Granted, that can be said for all the Faith, but with Shackles, say, Anima, is directly related to Seymour, while Yojimbo's existence as a samurai with a dog, dog, guardian, samurai being hired shields to protect nobles, like how a summoner's job is to sacrifice themselves to protect the church. Not to mention dying in the Calm Lands and becoming a fiend, which could represent the tarnished honor of a samurai that leads to self-righteous suicide. In any case, whatever it is that actually inspires Valefor's design, it is magnificent. Final Fantasy has always been great with creature designs, but Valefor and Anima both have some of the best designs I've seen in fantasy media. Then again, I'm probably just biased.